Okay, let's go over today's trades. Today's Friday. It's February the 8th, and I overtraded once again. The market was trading very slow, very low volume, and there wasn't much movement. I mean, look at Facebook. Isn't it beautiful? It's just chop. And as you can see, today I expected it to have more volume like yesterday, but I couldn't tell from pre-market, and sometimes I wish I could tell by looking at the pre-market action on how the day turns out, but you never can, or I can't. I mean, maybe at some point in my life I will figure this out. But now looking at my trades in hindsight and at the end of the day, or like we're at noon right now, and I called it a day. In the past days, I started to use breakout trades like these, like these spikes up, retest to VWAP, and then move to highs again. And they worked out in the past days because we had more volume. If you look at here, I mean we have barely 300,000 shares, and then just 100,000 shares per minute in Facebook, and it's just too little. And I honestly must say I haven't paid attention to the volume when I was trading it. I was so focused um, on Facebook, and it traded with wide spreads, and it wasn't clean. I don't know what I was thinking, and I tried it like, I mean, look, it looks like a Christmas tree here, and I tried in and out. I took 8 trades here, and all were red. I mean, there were tiny losses, but they add up, and I really messed up my day just by doing stuff like that. And same happened in MU. I mean, look at this. I mean, I tried to short here, but there was no follow through as there was no volume. I mean, it was um, it's MU, and it usually trades on high volume, but it's the same job. And I wanted to see the crack here of, I think it was 89ish, and it just didn't work. I tried many times here and didn't work, and then again I tried to take the lows here, and it didn't work again, and I took a partial loss here and thought, yeah, we might just spike up 1 cent, but we didn't, and I eventually took my loss. Yeah, and then I just kept going. I did better in other stocks. Oh, at the beginning I tried to short Mattel here um, for a breakdown, but I immediately saw, okay, we're way too close to VWAP, and the market didn't look like we would roll over, so I immediately took it off, and it was I took 2 cents loss, and my size wasn't that high, and that was a good call. I mean, we as you can see, we spiked up a little earlier to reject these previous highs. So, but I did have some good trades today. I tend to do very good on these low volume days with scaling in, and like selling resistance, buying support, and with quarter tiers, and giving them a lot of room to move. I had my level for Baba was this 169.8, and 6 was the previous day close, and it's a confluence with a pivot we had from some previous sessions, and I had it marked down to watch it. So when Baba looked like it would reject it, I was a little early with my entry. I didn't wait long enough, and we tested above, and I just stuck with it, as I had 167.50 as the next possible resistance up here, but we didn't even get there, and so it actually eventually resolved. I took profits into the $0.50, took more off on the spike up, and eventually here on when we lifted back above 166, I took the trade off, and then of course my target at 165.50 was eventually hit. That didn't work out. Or actually, I took my profits too early once again, but that's all right. Here I didn't like the entry. I would have liked to see a spike down, reject, and then I might have taken an entry here. But it's not that clean, and they usually tend to, like grind around on VWAP before making a move. So I was very careful. I'm glad I didn't take it. But when we retested, I saw it test this level once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, always rejecting. Then we made a spike up. We tested again, like the candle opened, we spiked up, and on the way down I went short. And again, I was a little too early, and I could have added here, but I just didn't trust the market. SPY is trading up and down and very unpredictable, and so I just, I took a quarter position with a loose stop up here and just stuck with it. At 65 cents, Baba stalled, and I placed a bid for half a position, and eventually was filled, and my original target was at this $0.50 that we tested here, and was my level here as well. Like I'm always too early with entries and exits, but it's green is good, but I really have to work on my patience. Even here, I got scared out. Like it took another half. I would have gotten the same price if I just waited 2 minutes more and taken, like the break of this candle, or even hit the low for the EMA 20 on 5 minutes. So I stuck with the rest, and here I got shaken out on the spike. This was like a quick move. Baba like made these moves like within seconds, like 25-cent moves, and then I just watched it. I didn't trade it anymore. I didn't like the action. We got into, like if you look at the time, it's 11:44 already, so I was ready to call it a day. Then my best trades were my best trade today was on Netflix. I caught pretty much the high here when I saw it reject 346.50, and I had levels at 345, just above the close here. I was watching it, but we broke through with strength, so there was no position here, but I was watching it. Even as it broke down here, it tested 345, pulled back, and then broke out, but it's very dirty. Netflix didn't trade on much volume either today. But when we tested once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times and rejected, and here it looked like it would form like a decision candle, and I just took a stab at it with a quarter position on the break of 346, and it turned out to be, like, as you can see in hindsight, it's a perfect entry. I did good with my waiting. I was I was really fighting not to take profit at the $0.50 and wait, and it took forever to it actually drop this come to 345 when I took it off, took a partial, and it was very good. I mean, took $1 out, and here I stopped out. Here I was too greedy in not taking off more, as my next target was 344. But when we, I stuck with the rest, and I had I had a quarter of a quarter left over, and I had a loose stop at break even of 346, and I thought, okay, let's see what it does. Practice your patience, and I did good. My next target was 334.50, and then where I took off more, another half, and then eventually VWAP was hit, and of course we traded lower then and tested in 341. And now in hindsight, this is a really good setup. Mm, I really love this setup. You see a decision candle. Oops, that's the wrong. Sorry. So I love this setup. It forms a decision candle. It drops below a $0.50 or full dollar. Here it's 341, and then it lifts up and breaks the high of the decision candle, and then a couple minutes back there is a small move up. It's like 50 cents or a dollar. You can take off. I usually like to take profits. Then I would have taken profits into this $0.50, as we tested it here, and it's been a level here. And then it pulls back, and it pulls back right to your entry, like here it is 70 cents. It retests and then goes for a move, and it's a big confirmation. And when I know I see this, it's usually a good sign for a bigger move. And sometimes, in case this would have been like a decision candle as well, you can use the break of these highs for an entry. But there's always like, sometimes you see like more pullbacks and more consolidation. So in days, on days like today, when the volume is so low and it's trading very choppy with wide spreads, I don't like doing this. So, but you know, it's been 2.5 points to get, and then I saw it trade back up here to what the. I don't know what's happening today. So at this 344.50 was resistance here. We rejected it here once and twice, and I saw this candle, and I was talking with a friend on the phone, and I thought about like taking a bid here. Now I talked through it like for the whole 2 minutes, and then it eventually dropped, and I missed the whole move. And as you can see, yeah, it makes the move down to weave again. That would have been another $1.50, and even if it's a quarter position, it's it's very good profits, small profits. Then I finally and eventually also did trade Tesla, but Tesla also traded very slowly, and I saw this candle, and as soon as I took my entry on the small pullback here, I knew I was in trouble, because on 2 minutes this looks very different and more like a short than a long. And yeah, I just stuck with it. I had there's so much support here. I had 300 and 299.50 as support levels, so I was confident this would eventually work out. But I did not get far enough to an entry. Actually, I had my pivot here is 298.50. Here we hit it like to the cent. Actually, so anyways, this worked out. It traded very slowly and eventually broke out. I took profits up here to 302 and above 302, but I missed to take off the rest, and I really must have taken off the rest here on this break. And I do not know why I keep trading like this. It's like I never learn. I mean, move your freaking stop up to break even once you take your profit. But that usually, like in Baba, then this happens. Like I move my stop up here, like here, I get stopped out, and then it makes the move. I mean, I'm happy there was no follow through here, because I was, it's always happening. And like if I move my stop here and I get taken out and then the move follows, if I don't do this like I did here in Tesla, like there's nothing happening. Like there's no pullback. I bet you if I had stopped out here, it probably would have made the move and run another $5 or $6. So I just stuck with this, and eventually here there was a spike up, and on the reject here I took it off at 30. Oh, that's where my break. I took it off break even then, and then it moved another dollar, and but I only had like a couple of shares left. I had a pivot up here at 303 as well, 303.05 to be precise, and we didn't test it all the way. And 302.50 was tested here, here, and here, and rejected. But I didn't like to short it here. Is it, like the market is so unpredictable, and you see the EMA trading around here, and there's just a confluence. There's too much support, and it's just too much noise, and it's just pure gambling. I mean, eventually it worked out. And what I could have done is like play the range, but we never traded at 303, which is a sign of weakness. Um, yeah, but I'm just glad I did not trade it, and even though it worked out. But yeah, that was my Friday today. Um, it is more or less a break-even day. I'm net positive, but due to my Facebook and MU trades, I'm net negative but gross positive. Uh, yeah, let's call it a break-even day, call it a week, and hope for more volume next week. I do improve, and that's always a good sign. Thank you very much.